Fishing for Life is a nonprofit organization here in Minnesota, and it's geared towards veterans. For those that have served in the armed forces, coming home or being a part of community sometimes requires something more than narrative therapy. And then building community sometimes can be a challenge for those that have served in the military. And so we have with us today Tom Goodrich and Patti Murray. And Tom started Fishing for Life. And I really want him, if you will, Tom, how did this idea get started and how are you doing now?
Well, we're doing very good as an organization, fulfilling our mission quite well. I have to go way back to my childhood to probably say that's where it started. I had come out of a broken sort of home and needed
Uh-huh.
mentors in my life. So then I did the fix for a lot of that was joining the military. And I joined the military and I found some success. And I did 22 years. And then in my last tour in Afghanistan, I sensed that I had the opportunity to do whatever I wanted, and I wanted to build a organization serving kids and
Mm.
getting them outdoors and getting them mentors. And we started that, but then I noticed a lot of veterans coming back and from both Afghanistan and Iraq. And we then shifted to include veteran programming. So I do about 25% of my programming towards veterans. In fact, today I'm at what's called Black's Ranch in South Dakota. And within the last hour, I just briefed 14 veterans, and they are now outdoors shooting, and they are getting ready for a big hunt and a big 2.5 day event, which we will conduct our mission. And so, yeah, that's kind of the genesis, if that helps.
Oh my goodness. What are they hunting?
Today it's pheasants. So bird hunting,
Pheasants.
pheasants, yes.
Okay. Just as a sidetrack, what do they do with the pheasants if they shoot any of them?
Oh, we clean them and eat them. Pheasants are like
You
chicken.
clean
They're very good. Yeah.
Okay. Nature has a way of healing, doesn't it?
Yeah. It does. One of the little early words this morning was, when we're out hunting and fishing, that is what we're doing. Our mind is finally at ease. And for people suffering from
Mm.
trauma, PTSD, that's part of a start of a fix is, well, at least right now I feel good because when you get a fish on the line and you're fishing, that's what you think about. You have to be focused, and it does take you off of, maybe the trauma pain many people experience. So that's just one little element of how it works.
Yeah, Fishing for Life, you don't normally connect any spiritual piece to Fishing for Life, but my understanding is Fishing for Life really as is its basis is that spiritual healing piece. Is that right?
Yes, that's very correct. So it is in our intention that we are absolutely connecting spiritually. However, I have a philosophy that hopefully bleeds through the organization that we want to be in relationship first and earn the right to speak into people's lives. And now veterans are a special, unique case because they feel maybe more comfortable around other veterans sharing their story, what's working for you, the chemical imbalance here, weightlifting there, drinking here, talking about, and then the stories they may have experienced overseas and that might be related to PTSD. But we absolutely are intent on going deeper, but it takes time. Kids might be a little different. We have almost an open book with trauma free in many cases, not all cases. And kids are more receptive to understanding and have a better, experience with God that might not have a lot of trauma wrapped around it. Veterans and adults are harder to heal. They're not receptive. They're more of a closed book, and it just takes more time And that's my experience anyway.
Yeah. I think PTSD, for me, I don't have PTSD. I haven't been diagnosed with it, but is to me is a lot of a normal reaction to suffering or trauma, and
Yeah.
evidencing people really don't know what to do with the trauma that they've experienced, they've had done to them. And fishing for life seems like it's really a no-brainer. I met Patty at a woman's veteran retreat, and the first time I saw Fishing for Life, I was trying to figure out what the connection is. Why would fishing have anything to do with spiritual healing, spiritual development, any type of relationship with creator or God? And it was, they were nice enough to explain it, and then it was like, of course, of course. And so, Patty, I think you go out a lot like Tom, and you're just out and about in the community a lot, aren't you?
Yes, the women's group, we haven't quite figured out the fishing part as strongly.
Uh,
But so the women's group, we have taken on to, even if we're snowshoeing, kayaking, or hanging out on a beach for a day, we have retreat. We will be on our 4th year of our retreat this year, coming up in October here, 11th. And so we've been connecting more by doing things that the ladies have all kind of said, oh, I'd like to do this and I'd like to do that. And that's how we've kind of started developing, doing some things with the group to fulfill their interests so that we can be with them in that interest and then develop our Christian connection or relationship, as Tom would say. Um, and then the women have been volunteer. We volunteer with whatever Tom has set up for with the men's group. So they let us come in and be able to help out with registrations or things like that. So people can meet us too that way as well.
Tom is the CEO. You're the creator of Fishing for Life, and you have a full board for Fishing for Life, and you're all within the state of Minnesota.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. The certainly the board is most of our programming happens in Minnesota, but
Okay.
we probably encompass the whole state. But like today, I'm in South Dakota, Nebraska, North Dakota. We do a lot of events. Some of them reach out state though, out of the state.
Okay.
Especially our
This is
soldiers we serve. That they come from a while. We have one here from Illinois, so that the reach we have is that come in to help or participate comes from all over the Midwest and actually
Mm-hmm.
the nation.
and actually the nation. So they can find you on Fishing for Life. Is it .org
Yes,
or
fishing and then
.org?
FOR, fishingforlife.org.
And it has a lot of programming in it.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot that people can connect to.
Yeah,
In
very robust
Yes.
programs, 140 some events a year. Those are some are geared towards kids and men and women and the different groups and veterans too.
Okay. So veterans aren't necessarily the main focus, but it really, what would be the main focus or the mission for Fishing for Life?
Probably, I would say, if you wanted to say, well, our programming is 75% towards kids and
Okay.
25 towards veterans. However, that's not even true either. I'd say 50% to kids. And then we serve women who just want to be in the outdoors through Patty's group, the Owls, and men as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they make up a large portion of our volunteer group. What we have found is, okay, we talked earlier about veterans just coming here and being outdoors. But one of the
Right.
steps in really functional healing is starting to get outside yourself and volunteering. So now we have this 140 events a year, and this is places where people can participate. And that's sort of
Mm-hmm.
an intentional process. We want men, women, and veterans to participate in volunteering, so we have this wide swath of events, a full calendar. But if you were to ask incarcerated people or PTSD people or coming out of addiction, every one of them is going to tell you, when I started helping, serving, doing something, it got my mind off and healing starts. And so that's a very strong and integral part of all this too.
You threw out the word, two words, functional healing. And can you elaborate just a little bit on that?
I guess that was probably not, it was kind of by accident, but healing, certainly we want to strive towards a healing or improvement. Let's say you're using alcohol to cover up some pain. Well, we want to move them towards not using alcohol. And so the volunteerism is keeping busy and they have to show up sober or participate. And so, and I guess when I said functional healing, it's just we understand some simple processes that work. A lot of veterans, have 5, 6, 7 different medications that they're using, and that gets a little more complicated. And we can't handle all issues, and we don't. But and then we offer Christ to come in at some level and say, "Have you made peace with God?" That's a very important question. I think we all are faced with, from little kids. Everybody's got. You mentioned you don't understand PTSD. I think we all have forms of PTSD, trauma that have happened to us throughout our whole life. Veterans might have some specific stuff, but we all do. And so you have to, if you begin to look at a broken world and an unjust world, and we're frustrated and we're angered and we might be shouting or shaking our fist at God, in my opinion, the first step is making peace with God. I don't care who you are, as a kid, as an adult, as a veteran. And making peace with God is not a bad idea. Understanding that there is a God and it ain't you or me. That's seemingly a message I like to push quite often.
Yeah. Well, Tom, if you didn't create a type of treatment, I think you did here, functional healing. I'll probably
Okay.
go back and look to see. But
Somebody's
the
coined
kinetic,
that already.
I think you just
Yeah.
did.
Okay.
I think you're onto something too, though, is because narrative therapy has its limits.
What does that
And
mean?
you mentioned, I think, a few times on here that doing something, healing and coming to peace and finding a place for those experiences happens when you're out doing things. You've got those passive activities where your brain
That's
can make.
narrative therapy.
Narrative therapy is when you're sitting down and talking.
Okay.
So,
Traditional therapy, where you're sitting in an office, laying on the couch, and a psychiatrist is talking over. That would be narrative therapy. Okay, I get that.
there you go. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I think you're just creating, or you're giving name to what you're doing.
Yes.
And yes, in functional healing. So
Okay.
today is September 30th, 2024.
Yeah.
And Fishing for Life, Tom Goodrich has coined functional healing. That's why he's
Well,
the
and
CEO.
there's a lot of dysfunctional attempts at healing that might get frustrating for me, and I can identify with. So maybe
Yeah.
that's why I say that. There's a problem. Number one is earning a relationship to speak into somebody's life, earning that right
Yeah.
to talk to them.
Yeah.
Number two is, let's get clean. Let's have a level head and the volunteerism and things that seem more functional in reality. I don't know.
Yeah.
It
No,
sounds
that's
good.
fine. Yeah. That's what a
I,
podcast is for, is you just shoot from the hip and what's supposed to bubble up, bubbles up.
well, you can't fix a broken wheel.
Yeah. For me, the very fact that we suffer evidences that we're spiritual beings. If we were only physical and cognitive, I don't believe that suffering or trauma would exist, because what are we working towards? For some reason, we need to want to have peace. We want to make peace. We want forgiveness. We want to identify with others. We want to connect with others. These
Mm-hmm.
are all spiritual activities that really this podcast hopes to bring to the surface more so. And so Tom might come back on. Patty, it's you and me right now. And we
Yeah.
haven't heard too much about you because I
Yeah.
got to meet you this year at a women's vet retreat.
Yes.
And what got you interested in fishing for life?
Oh,
You're fine.
he's back. Um,
Patty's going to tell us how she got connected in fishing for
yeah.
life.
I kind of got connected through a friend, just hearing about it and being taken a few events and seeing it. But it was about 5 years ago that it really kind of started talking with someone about it. Steve Cruikshank was in with Fishing for Life, and he runs the deep sea, so he started talking to me and kind of connecting me, and then he would talk to Tom, and then COVID hit, so that slowed things down a little bit, but. The group that started, the ladies, we all just kind of really work together, and our goal is connecting with women through Christ. And we just kind of started slowly. We've been taking it very slow. We're starting to pick up a little bit of faster movement this year, and so we just started doing different events and setting something up for it. So we connect as there's no alcohol because we are very in tune, like Tom said, to people that maybe have traumas or different things. We're trying to connect this year more with veterans and trying to get the women veterans to come with us. We just did a twins game, and I had one of the lady veterans from the retreat actually came with her family, and they're both in the Marines and Army. And so that was super fun to talk to them and their kids. So it's just kind of slowly developing, and it's going forward.
I
Absolutely.
I'd love to chime in too. And so we were kind of intentional about this. And Patty, you may or
Yeah.
may not know it, but I felt like I needed to start this Owls Women's Group to serve these women who want to be outdoors. But really, I also needed a developed volunteer pool because we have so many girls we have to say no to for our camps, fishing camps, and we have so many women veterans that we need, just for safety reasons alone, we need a plethora of women who
Yeah.
will come alongside, and that's already starting to shape up and
Yeah.
play out. And so it was, and that's how we've got hundreds of men involved volunteering. And here, 50% of our audience is female, and we have to most of the time say no, we can't do it. So I'm really grateful that the Owls has taken off in a lot of different ways.
Yeah. Yeah, we have. And it's growing, but the women, our Outdoor Women for Life group, we're kind of all over the Twin Cities area right now at this point. So we do a lot of things, like our Bible studies are virtual, and we do those winter and spring, fall and winter. And but summer we have the events that we connect together at some place, a local meeting place in some place in the Twin Cities. So, and it's been really good so far, and it's we're all very happy to be together, and we've been building relationships, so we're get stronger, and that's why we don't mind taking it a little slower, just so that we can build a relationship. We kind of say what gets talked about with us is stays with us. We want people to feel safe. We want women to feel safe, and we want them to know that what they say stays with whoever they talk with, and it's not gossiped all over the world, because women are pretty good gossipers. So we do try to reiterate that all the time, that respect each other and don't do that. So, but I got interested more with veterans because I've always appreciated veterans. I've always respected that. But my son is in the Navy, and so he has been in for 10 years now already, and he's a pilot. So I kind of got very active with veteran societies or social things when he went in, and started developing a very good, big interest in veterans and being supportive of that as a family of a veteran. So I went through all of the traumas of what happens to a family when your child or somebody goes into the military, and how do you deal with that? So that's where I come from, in wanting to help veterans more as much as I can, and do things with that. And Fishing for Life is now just kind of set into that place, which is
Um,
nice.
Parents are usually overlooked
Mm.
because people that join the military are adults. But you bring up the fact that you had an experience in having to figure out how you're going to interact and relate to your son serving the
Hmm.
United States of America in uniform.
Yeah,
Were
absolutely.
there hurdles? You know, did your son tell you, I'm joining the Navy, and off he went?
Yes, exactly. And it was a what? And then he went into college I raised him by myself pretty much since he was 10 months old. So single parent, which is, you get very close to your child. And then he went through aviation in college, and then he just said, yeah, I think I'm going in the Navy, and I'm going to go sign up, and meet me here at this time to sign up. And I was like, what? And so yeah, I quit work for the day. I just said, I got to have this day off. I don't know what I'm going to do. And it was very stressful and very scary to go in to sign him up, and how they treated you and what they did, and how they talked to you, because I had no clue. I had no clue
What,
what it was about to sign up, with a service,
what was the stressful, scary part for you?
because as a parent, you want to protect your child,
Hmm.
and they pretty much told me I don't own him anymore. And I said, wait a minute, he's my son, I raise him by
Right.
myself. He's my child, I want to know that he's going to be okay. And it was just like everything was ripped from me as responsibilities, as a parent for him. Even though is an adult, you still
Hmm.
have that motherly instinct. So, so yeah, it was a challenge, and we were out in the parking lot. I was like crying, going, "Oh my gosh, I have to, I want to support you, and if this is what you really want it, you're in it now. Now we have to figure it out. And so
Mhm.
it was interesting to go through that conversation, and we talked a lot in the beginning because he knew that I needed to figure it out too, and he helped me with that a little bit. But on the other sense, he's off running and thinking, geez, did I just do this? So I think he got scared about it too at first.
Yeah.
But and he was gone very quickly. It wasn't, they just said, you're leaving within like 3 weeks. So to training. So he went to Pensacola to start training
Um,
immediately. And so that was weird too. All of a sudden he's out of state. He's not around, and he's gone. So there's a lot. And so I was picking up pieces of things that he needed me to send him for paperwork, and vice versa, and supporting that, and just trying to figure out, are you okay? And he had to reassure me he was okay. And so it was challenging, I have to say. And so
yeah.
what I did right then is I got involved with a company called Citizen Serving Our Armed Forces. They disbanded, but they would ship to all militants of all military, and they would ship to the whole unit or squadron or whatever, whoever needed anything from Minnesota. And so I got packing with them for about 7 years, and then in between that time got connected with Fishing for Life, seeing what they were doing through a friend, and that just kind of sparked my interest too on Fishing for Life, what they
Mm,
were doing for veterans, and how they supported that as well.
yeah.
So yeah, I think families put up with a lot. They don't realize that you worry so much about your child when they're deployed. You're worrying about what their needs are. You're worrying about how they're feeling. You're worrying about their mental status. You want them to be stable enough or not go through hardships, but life is life. People have to get their bumps on the road as well, and do their
Right.
learning. So
Which is a lot, isn't it?
it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a
I
lot.
think what I'm learning with this Fishing for Life and the owls is it has to do with building relationships more so than a therapeutic encounter, but developing relationships through connection. I don't know if that
Yes.
would, if you both would agree with that. And then the big piece for you is it sounds like it's Christian.
Yep.
So, and people don't have to believe in
No,
Christianity.
no, it's just, it's forming friendships and just the goodness of the people in this group are
Uh-huh.
just everybody that's been in this group that I've been around are just good people, you know, good people willing to help. The guys are all willing to help all the time. We go help them. Everybody seems is just super kind to each other. We respect each other. That I have seen in the 5 years I've been involved more, and it's a great group of people to just be with and be who you want to be and just let you relax. I don't think you have to be anybody specific when you come to the group. You can just be you, you know.
Okay. No matter where you're at on the life
Absolutely.
spectrum, if you will, or the spiritual spectrum, you just
Yep.
get to be you. Just show up.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
The website is very well organized. I enjoyed it. It was easy for me to navigate. If I wanted to donate, if I wanted to contribute through an event, if I wanted to be a part of some kind of a program, I got to learn a little bit about the board of directors. So it seems like there's a lot of transparency also in Fishing for Life. And if you know anything about the military, they have a discern meter that is finely tuned. We can tell if it's real or if it's not real, if there's a threat, if there's not a threat right off the bat. And so I appreciate the Fishing for Life's website. It seems to be quite transparent, relevant, helpful.
Yeah, I
Tom,
think.
you are Tom's on mute. Just so you know,
Oh,
Tom, that you're on mute. So if you start talking, we can't hear you.
Oh, I know I'm on mute. I
Okay.
wanted to protect you from the wind, and I
Oh,
appreciate that. You know, the website discussion. Sorry. Um, Anytime you build a website, you have 70 different opinions about, oh, I love this, and they base it off their last website experience that worked or didn't work. So anyway, I'm kind of encouraged to hear you say that because, you know, you can always have a website. They just come in so
mhm.
many different forms and shapes. It's nice to have somebody actually affirm that our website looks okay.
it does. I enjoy
Yeah.
that. And it's colorful too. So the very fact that it's lively and that has to do with about life, you get that from the colors and a little
Hmm.
bit of the humor in the design is what I experienced. So that's
That's
my
cute.
experience. Yes.
I like it. That's good.
Yeah.
Good
Um,
observation.
I the Department of Minnesota American Legion hosts this podcast, and I'm very thankful that they do that. And so I always want to know if the people that are guests, if they have any connection with the American Legion at all. And so I don't. Tom, do you have any connection with the American Legion?
Yeah, I am a member of both the Legion and the VFW. The Chanhassen American Legion has been wonderful. In fact, the event I'm at today, they've supported, and also the Coon Rapids VFW as well.
Okay. And Chanhassen is, I think, in third district of the Department of Minnesota. So um, I don't know if that means anything to you because there's 10 districts in the American Legion. So thank you for being a part of the American Legion. And then, Patty, do you have any
Yeah.
connection with the American Legion?
I do not, no, but not I we do have
Yes.
some veterans in our group actually,
Mhm.
and so that's been nice too. And I don't know if they are or not, but they're still active military.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's kind of been fun to connect with them. But no, I don't. I don't belong or anything. You know.
Well, just know you can. So can your
I
son.
guess I didn't know I could as a family member because
Oh, yeah.
USAA does they don't let you
Yeah. The
join as if you're the
auxiliary
parent.
has The auxiliary has been supporting the American Legion for a long, I think 1920, 1921. I don't know that information right off, but we have a lot of similarities that Fishing for Life does, but where one of the key differences for the American Legion is it's all veteran focused, as well as your faith, what you believe, what you don't believe is totally up to you. Although the American Legion has always recognized that creator, deity, God, is a part of who we are. And so just know that we're doing a lot of the same work, but in a completely different way.
Different
And
way.
we're throughout the whole 50, we have 52 departments. So there's my plug. You can be as active as you want or non-active as you want. You can just be a paying dues member.
Okay. I guess for me, I did not know that I could do that. I thought you had to be a veteran.
No, the auxiliaries for a lot of moms and a lot of spouses are in the auxiliary. And so
Okay.
it's male and female spouses. And then your son, he would qualify as an American Legion member. And so
Nice.
here's a plug. This is a free plug. But when we almost had the Coast Guard shut down, if you remember that a few years ago, the government wasn't going to pay the Coast Guard because they're not part of the United States Armed Forces. It's a little bit too much. But the American Legion stepped up and they paid for the Coast Guard's salaries. Yeah. So we just work together. And that to me is the connection. But to get back to Fishing for Life, Tom's time, because you're out in South Dakota hunting pheasants. And so what I'm hearing you say is you just come as you are into Fishing for Life, the Owls Ministry. There's a plethora of programs and events that you can be a part of. And the goal really is to have that functional healing. We're going to make this a way of healing. It's like we heal from each other too, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, the sharing of each other's stories, especially within the veteran community. If you first of all feel safe with other veterans, so that's an important tenet. Veterans together, so then they let down their guard, so to speak, and then we will soften them up in a way if we can, and that sometimes takes leadership. Maybe it's me share my story or bring in a speaker who has something that made it through.
Whoops.
And he shares his story, and now it's a safe environment for others to share. And in that regard, we certainly need each other to get to that point.
Yeah. I hope that the listeners can hear you. I love podcasting and I love technology because we can record this no matter where we're at. I'm in my home. I think, Patty, you're in your home.
I'm in my home.
Tom, you're in some foreign state, not in Minnesota, out on a pheasant hunt, out in the middle. And it looks like it's beautiful weather too. And so
Windy cities.
The Windy City. But you brought up a very valid point, as well as you did, Patty, that healing, we're always in a state of healing if we allow ourselves to be in community with others. And it sounds like you set up these environments where you have activity, there's a focus to it, but you're just being with other people and talking, knowing that it's confidential. That would probably be that to me is a very, very important piece for anybody. Just knowing that what I say can stay there.
Yes, absolutely. I guess I just, for our ladies group, we really have learned, we have really grown and bonded as a group, as small group, as we start moving forward. And each year we hope to just keep adding more and more things that we can participate in or create. And so we're really still developing the Outdoor Women for Life group. We call ourselves the Owls, and because it's easier. But we're developing every year. Yes, there we go. It's women's ministry. And so it's been a great ride with the people that have stuck with it. And we feel that if you build a strong relationship and Christ is in that, then God is going to keep moving us more and bring more people to us. And that's kind of what's been happening. And so that's where our stem is coming from.
Tom mentioned earlier that you're wanting to get involved so people can participate in Fishing for Life or one of the programs. They don't need to get involved,
Yep,
but you're more than willing and you'll find room for them to also get involved.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a ton of programming that is geared for
It's too windy.
too windy to hear.
Yeah, it's really windy.
Okay.
It sort of cuts off the what he's saying. It's so windy.
I know.
Yeah.
There's some beautiful truth to what both you and him are saying, in that serving, when we serve others,
Mm-hmm.
it heals us, it brings us peace, there's relevancy, there's purpose, there's an identity that I am important because I'm serving another human being.
Mm-hmm.
And that might, it
Well,
sounds like it was one of the impetuses for Fishing for Life.
yeah. And some people aren't. I'm a caregiver type person. I like things people to feel good, feel happy,
Uh-huh.
But there's and some people aren't that way. Everybody's so
Mhm.
different, and you got so many different personalities, and it's just trying to figure each other out a little bit, just getting to know each other, doing things together that are just fun. That we're mostly doing things that women like to do. So everybody
Yeah.
has suggested things along these last few years, and that's kind of what we've developed. Like
Oh.
somebody said, "Oh, I like snowshoeing. I like doing this. I like kayaking. I like canoeing. I like shooting pistols or target shooting." We have tried to get people fishing, so we've done that a few times where the men have come and taken us out and in their boats and helped us fish, and that's been wonderful and it's been great. So there are more and more women that are really liking to fish, we're finding this year. And so maybe that can be something next year we can do then and have a day of fishing. So we are
Lot.
just kind of creating as people are kind of requesting for women, and each year kind of ask, hey, how would you like to do this? We've had a request for a lot of women want to do Feed My Starving Children and spend a day doing that and serving
Mhm.
that. So maybe we can try and develop that for next year.
Oh.
And so we are just kind of doing the things that ladies would like to do and want to do, so that everybody's kind of feeling like they're a part of something, and they don't have to necessarily be involved, but they
Mm.
can be involved,
Mm.
as much as
Yeah,
they want.
that's a
And so,
lot.
so
Yeah.
it's that's kind of the premise or the goals of it, and to keep that going. All the women are busy, and so in the summers they're very busy with their kids, their families, and so it gets to be challenging with women because women do a little bit more with the house and cleaning and working, and so we really try to go around all of that or in between all that and create things that people can do.
Yeah. Yeah. Women usually are the primary caregivers,
Yes.
or if they're working, they're still the primary caregivers. So there's difference in the genders for sure.
Yeah, we have a great there's been four of us that have been just there's Katie, who you met,
Uh-huh.
and we have Mary Wilcox and Sarah Schroed, are the four of us that have really been the strength of developing more things and
Hmm.
sticking together, and just wonderful women. They're just amazing, and the group wouldn't go if we didn't work together. And
Yeah.
so we definitely need that as a family group, and to keep it going forward. But just fantastic ladies to work with.
I'm very curious about how online Bible study works.
Yeah, we have mostly done our Bible studies through Lifeway. And so you purchase their book and then they give you video access. And so we plan the days, like say one, like this next session coming up that we're going to do at our retreat is called How Much More by Lisa Harper. There's 7 sessions. So we're going to actually work on the first session at the Bible study at the retreat in this Bible study. And then we're going to continue on if people want to can continue on in the study for the next 6 weeks.
Oh.
And so we kind of just pick dates that everybody can. Twice a month is kind of what works because of everybody's schedules.
Right.
And so we get together on a Monday night at say 7:30 and we go till 9 and we go through a chapter that each time we meet.
Okay.
And so people do their homework the 2 weeks prior to, watch the video, make their notes, and then we discuss it and read. We have one of us lead it. One of those 4 ladies I mentioned will lead. And then we go through verses. We'll have other people read. We read parts of the chapter that we're in and then discuss it more. And sometimes it relates to somebody's personal life and they have a story. Sometimes we just talk about what God maybe might really be saying or how we feel about that. But we always open with a little prayer, and we do ask people if they need prayer. And so we do get a lot of prayer requests. We're kind of a strong prayer warriors, I'd say. And we do pray a lot with the armor of God over us and for those people that need prayer. And so we kind of make notes. I make notes and I pray for those people through the next 2 weeks for what they ask they need prayer for.
Oh,
And
thank you.
I think most of us do the same thing.
Is there a size limit? How many people can attend?
Well, we've been so small, we haven't had to address that issue.
Okay.
And so our last Bible study, we had 16.
Oh, that's pretty big.
And that's pretty big. And
Yeah.
so we found, yes, that kind of did get a little more challenging when people wanted to speak, but everybody was pretty respectful and honored somebody trying to speak. And we haven't really had to come to the, like, oh, we have 20, what are we going to do?
Sure.
And so it hasn't gotten to that point yet. That's our growth that we have to go through, But
Yeah.
if people want to listen and can talk, if we can do that, it'd be fabulous, really. Because just think of all the thoughts that people have, and everybody has a different experience, and everybody's a unique person.
We are all unique, aren't we?
We are.
So bringing all that together and then making space confidentially is really unique for Bible studies. And just to
Yes.
know that you're connected throughout. And so if you're part of the ministry, you can go snowshoeing. There are all these separate activities is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Okay.
And they can, like Fishing for Life does put out a calendar every year from January to December, and they list everything going on. And some of those things are specifically for men, like women can't go to the men's retreats and vice versa. There are some men things that they just want it to be with men because they want them to feel comfortable too, especially veterans. And if they need to open up, they can. But you can also go and help out, like say they have Reel 'em In where they fix old poles and they put them together and they fix them to hand out to the kids when they do that event. And so you can go help with that. You can help with their ponds. They have fish ponds, and a lot of us help out with that. And kids come in and fish, or adults. I mean, everybody kind of comes to do it and try to catch a live trout. And so those are at a lot of all the events around the Twin Cities that you can participate in. We have Holes for Heroes, which is a veteran event in February. That's out on Medicine Lake. And I'm hoping this year we can have a woman's veteran tent for fishing.
Is that a
And
fundraising event or what is it?
It's a fundraiser but they have Holes for Heroes is they really honor the veterans. And so they do have tents up for for honored veterans that they can fish in, and they supply a bunch of things in there for them, and they drill the holes for them. I mean, it's just kind of a great event. And then they, at the end, they have prizes that they give out for fish, the biggest fish, or what size fish, what kind of fish. So it's a pretty big event. You should go out there and just see it on Medicine Lake.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So last year, of course, they couldn't because the ice wasn't frozen enough. But
Yeah.
normally, Minnesota is pretty frozen over, and so the
Usually.
event is pretty huge out there on Medicine Lake. And
Medicine Lake.
Medicine
I
Lake.
will look that up. Does Fishing for Life have a home base, or does it go lots of different places? Like, is there a hard structure that people can go to see Fishing for Life?
Yeah, no, they have, like, Deep Seas has is the Christian side. They have an east side, men on the east side of the Twin Cities, the west side, the north, and the south. And so they have different groups. The men meet monthly, and so they go to either someone's home, or they have a location like, say, Cabela's at Rogers. That's where some of the women, we've met there a few times already to use their facility. So they'll go to a place where they can meet in a room at a facility. And so that happens as well.
Sure. And I'm just thinking the American Legion, usually a lot of us have hard structures too. I wonder if that would be a fit for any of the Legionnaires that are listening to this. If you're able to accommodate, that might be something. But anyway.
Yeah, that would be fabulous. Fabulous for a little event or something. If they're happy, I think some legions they usually have like a room that's like a banquet room or some size that you can do things in. So that would be great. That's a great idea.
I'm always throwing stuff out there without permission sometimes. It's kind of what but you just never know, because it sounds like Fishing for Life is a Christian organization, but it's not a proselytizing. If, you don't have to convert to Christianity to be a part of Fishing for Life. It sounds like it's a servant-minded organization.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We take anybody that just wants to be in the outdoors and enjoy company.
So. I don't think Tom's coming back, and that's fine. I always like to give guests the last word. Patti, just so you know, you gave us a bunch of book recommendations, so that's going to be in the description. So if you're listening to this, make sure you go to the description, and the books that you would, if you're looking for something to read or something that might be helpful, will be there, as well as fishingforlife.org's website link will be in there. But is there anything that you would like to share as the parting words?
I just thank you for letting us be on here and share what we are doing and what our goal is. And I just am grateful that we're able to speak with you and get some insight as well about American Legion. And I learned that I could sign up.
You definitely.
So that's good.
We would love to have you.
Yeah, that's good. But no, we're just grateful, and we're happy to take people on. You just fishingforlife.org, and you can go to the programs and set up meet somebody or get numbers or connect with somebody there as well. And usually someone gets back to you. Everybody does work full time, so just remember we're working as well besides doing this. So most of us, the women are, yes, but the men, I think. Well, Tom this is his job full time, but so yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.